Hi Josh, how are you this evening? Thank you very much for your VR. For a minute when I started watching, I thought you weren't going to give us your Nirvana moment. It was all about the things that you don't want in a pipe. But we got there in the end. Thank you very much. I don't want to hear any noise in my pipe. No noise. This evening, smoking my Northern Briars calabash. Nice Cumberland stem, jade Cumberland stem. And I'm smoking the fog. Hi Andrew. Doing very well, especially after an England win. England getting through to the semi-finals, which I don't think anybody expected. Hi Tim. Neo stuff, how you doing? Just reveling in the England win. Well, with Croatia beaten so far. They beat Russia today, I take it. Well, hopefully it is coming home, but you know, it's just a difference of one game. You know, if they fluff it on Tuesday, that's the end. But they've done good. They've done well. My talking about Nirvana smokes, but my Nirvana football time was when I was younger, in the days of Glenn Hoddle, Chris Waddle, Paul Gascoigne later on, and what was the captain's name? I think he played for Nottingham Forest, or was it Ipswich? Hey Razan, what was the captain's name? Tim, you remember? Had a bloody head after a clash in one of the games. Those are my golden days of football. Gary Lineker. Elwood. Well, as I said, I'm smoking this calabash. Hey Tree, how you doing? Well, Paul Gascoigne. Hey Latex Piper. Paul Gascoigne certainly is one of those volatile characters, but that was, I suppose, where his greatness came. He was magic on the ball. He just lived for football. He really did. And the truth of the matter is, footballers, they're on such huge salaries these days, and they get so idolised by the youth of the generation and the older generations, that I guess they can get a bit carried away. But you see, the sensible ones who are earning a lot of money, rather than spending it on Lamborghinis, are investing it, and they're successful the rest of their lives. they don't get too carried away. And unfortunately, some people, the truth of the matter is, Paul Gascoigne, I'm no expert on people, but I think that whichever field he would have gone into, I think he would have struggled. I think he just has demons that he has to deal with, which, let's hope that he manages to stay afloat. Well, over the years I've tried. I don't have a tracking number for that tamper set simply because of the value. Because I didn't send it tracked. It went pretty late because after the first batch that I sent out, I didn't get to the post office for quite a long time. But you should get it next week sometime. But because of the value, it would have cost me almost half the value of the package if I would have sent it tracked. So hopefully it'll get there in one piece. If it doesn't, and after a reasonable amount of time, if you don't get it, I'll refund you, don't worry about it. But I'm sure you'll get it. I think I did take a proof of postage because just wanted to be able to show that I did post it, but I didn't track it. So my birth year pipe would have been in 1969, and I have been close to pulling the trigger on some Dunhill 1969s, but they've never really called to me. They've never really. I mean, I really do want to get one, but none of the ones that I've seen have been worth going for. And I'd love to get a straight billiard, which has got enough girth on it to convert, because I'm not so sure that you can get 9mm Dunhills that far back. I think it's only in recent years that they've been doing 9mm. Yeah, I think I would like to get either, but I'd probably like to get a shellbriar, a straight billiard shellbriar with some nice grain on it, with enough girth on the shank to convert. And I think though that the older ones didn't have that much. They were quite thin, but maybe, never mind. You never know. I might get lucky one day. Hey Joe, thanks for your VR. Probably a group 2 there, Elwood. Cool. Quaker, that's some interesting land. Is it all spelled correctly, or have you had some typos there as well? Hey Jeff. Yeah, Elwood. I was trying to find amongst my collection a pipe that would match your theme, but I've only got one pipe which gets anywhere near it, but it's nothing really crazy. But I might still do a video for you. I hope you'll accept it. It's really just a quite a chunky pipe. You've seen it before probably, but I haven't really got anything odd. Eric. I haven't had a chance to look at your musket brandishing yet. A pretty good site, obviously, is Danish Pipe Shop. They haven't necessarily got the biggest selection of tobacco, but they've got a reasonable selection. Smoking my Northern Briars Calabash. This is a perfect example. Sorry, I had my mic covered. This is a perfect example of a pipe which I have, I think, put up for sale before and gone back to it and really enjoyed smoking it. Smoking very, very well. Smoking some London fog, and it's delicious. Tree, my stack of tins is piling up slowly. One day I'll send it off to you. There is an online pipe shop in Scotland. I don't know if it's in Edinburgh or not. I don't know where it is. I think I have bought from them before. Yeah, the pipe shop. Although I don't know how much, if they've got a huge amount of tobacco. Hey Gizmo. Actually, got a pretty good selection. This is the pipe shop in Edinburgh. We've got Ulstead, Coalhouse and Cop, McBaron, McClintock, some miscellaneous blends, Planter, Peterson, Rattrays, Robert Lewis, Robert McConnell, Samuel Goworth, Slavinelli, Stillams and Solani. So a good selection there. No, they won't stock you HU tobaccos, I wouldn't have thought so. There is a site in Germany. I can't remember its name though. Cheers, Jeff. Enjoy your time in the garage. Yeah, so you said in your message earlier on. I'll have a look at that, definitely. Talking about Nirvana smokes, I tell you, this is smoking fantastically. I really should smoke it more often. Carolina pipe, North Kakalaki. I suppose that's a nickname for North Carolina, is it? So how long have you been doing, Eric, how long have you been doing what do you call them? Reenactments? Hey Morgan Steele, how you doing? How is life in Arizona at the moment? Oh wow. Well, the weather here is still really warm. Not on that scale, but still really warm for the UK. Oh, I hope you got some air conditioning there, Neo. Well, tomorrow I'll be out and about. Two of my kids are having birthday parties tomorrow. One of them, I think their actual birthday was today, and one of the other ones is in a few days. So we decided to go to one of the parks that we go to fairly regularly, and we're going to celebrate both the parties at the same time. The park that we're going to has got a little bit of water as well, so hopefully we'll have a bit of a frolic in the water as well. Tampa by Paul Turnock. Remember him? Are you guys seeing the picture clean, or is it pixelated? The refresh rate on mine is really slow. I've been noticing for the last week or two that it's been really slow on these live feeds. I'm getting really concerned with British BT, as it's known, bt.com. I'm starting to become a conspiracy theorist. I was actually going to do a video last week after I got off the phone. I spent a good part of a couple of hours trying to resolve something with British Telecom, and I was really annoyed. But I decided against it. Basically, I got my latest bill from BT, and BT provides my phone and my internet access. And they also have various other services that they offer, including sports and things like that. They have a sports channel, which is pretty useless, but they have one. Anyway, on my most recent bill, which nowadays you only get online, so like probably a lot of people, I don't look at it every single month, right down to the small print. We're so bombarded by emails that, you just can't read everything. But this month I did. Had a look at the bill. Where do I check that, Tim? On settings, I suppose. Well, I'm just going to check that. I hope it doesn't blank out here. Is that under settings or Creator Studio? Presumably settings, yeah? Well, I don't know if you can hear me, but I've gone to the settings page. I've got playback and performance, but it's not giving me anything which makes sense. Advanced, let's have a look at advanced. No. The only thing that playback and performance shows me is show annotations and in-video notifications and show captions. No, it doesn't give me any performance. That's only on playback. Okay. Okay, so as I was saying, I had a look at the bill, and I see an amount debited for £3.50. Not a lot of money, but still, the principal. And it was for BT Sports Lite. I'd never heard of it. I certainly hadn't ordered it. So I phoned them up. No, actually, I went on a live chat first. It was the suggested option to get the quickest service. So I got on a live chat, and I asked him what that was about. So he says, well, you've actually had it on your account free for the last 18 months, but we've started charging for it in January. So I said, well, I didn't know about that. He didn't ask me if I want it. He said, well, actually, we sent an email to everybody, and we notified them that was going to be happening. And if you didn't respond, then it just went on. So I said to him, I'd like to cancel it. So he said, well, if you want to cancel it, you have to phone up a particular department to cancel it. So I said, well, can't you do that? He said, no. So I said to him, I can quite easily go online to bt.com and add any options on the account that I want online. So it's very easy for me to spend money with you, but why can't I actually cancel some of my account online as well? Why do you make it hard? Why isn't it even-handed? So he said that he'll pass on my feedback, but that's what I have to do. So I left him, and I got the number. He actually, I think he actually did try to help. He was being genuine. His hands were tied, obviously, and he called me back, and then put me through to the right department. So, anyway, cut a long story short, I got through to the department. I hope I'm not boring you. Got through to the department, and I cancelled it. And then I said to him, well, what about since January? You've been charging me every month since January. I'd like a refund, please. I haven't used it, you can check. I haven't used it, and I'm not interested in it. So he said, well, we sent you the email, you had the choice of cancelling. I said, but I never asked for it. You can't just put something on my account without me asking for it. And I tried to explain to him the concept of the law has changed in as much as when you used to get emails from people, there used to be boxes on the bottom. If you'd like to be excluded from these mail shots and whatever, tick this box. And now that law has been changed and that's been reversed, and they're not allowed to do it unless you tick a box saying that you want it. Whereas before you tick the box to say that you didn't want it. And I said the same thing applies to you. You can't just, because you sent an email, assume that I want something. What, if you sent me an email saying we're going to be charging you £200 a month on your bill, would you be able to do that? The amount of the money doesn't make a difference. Surely I have to positively request something before you can take my money. Anyway, I didn't get very far. But he said, if you want to talk about it, I can't actually deal with it. You've got to put me through to somebody else, to a loyalty team. So I said, fine, put me through to the loyalty team. Got through to the loyalty team. I spoke to a young lady who was also being trying to be helpful. And I had the whole discussion with her, and I gave her my side of the argument. And she said, well, she's checked with her superior, and the bottom line is you weren't notified, and you had the opportunity to say no. So I went through the argument again with her, and I said that, I kind of hinted at the idea that I was going to start thinking about going to the ombudsman and complaining about it and making a hoo-ha. So she says, hang on a second, I'll speak to her. I'll take a second opinion. She comes back and she says, well, we can't actually give you the refund, but as a gesture of goodwill, we're going to refund you for 3 months as opposed to 6 months or 7 months. And I thought to myself two things. Number one, it's not a lot of money. And number two, it's just not worth the hassle. And I said, fine, I'll accept that. And that was the end of that. But the funny thing is, which is where I originally started, is the conspiracy theory. Is that, I forgot to tell you the most important part. When I got on the phone to the second guy, the guy who I cancelled that facility, that £3.50 thing, and then asked him about the refund, he actually said, actually sir, if you want, I've just had a review of your account and I can reduce your bill by £5 a month. I said, fine, no problem. So we start going through the whole process, and then it cottoned. I cottoned on, and I realised, hang on, he's not just giving me £5 for nothing. And we'd already been going through the whole process of getting this reduction. I said to him, are you signing me up for another contract? Because I was out of contract, which is a position I always like to be in. I like to be in a position where I can just jump if I want to. I said, are you signing me up for another 18 months? No, so I asked him, how long is this £5 for, this reduction? Is it just this month or is it forever? So he said it's for 18 months. And when he said 18 months, I realised that this was a structure that he was putting me into. He was putting me into a contract. And I asked him, and he said, yes, it's an 18-month renewal. So I said, why didn't you say that to me? We've been talking for 10 minutes and you haven't had the courtesy to mention to me that you were putting me in a contract. And I said, you're all the same, you're just not transparent, you're dishonest, and all you're trying to do is get more money. I said, I don't want to talk to you anymore, put me through to your supervisor. So he got apologetic, and presumably again, they're all trained to do that. They're trained to pull a fast one. Anyway, I told him I'm not interested in the £5 reduction, and I'm more interested in possibly going elsewhere or reporting you. Anyway, it all ended up with getting that 3 months. But I tell you, I get so frustrated with this attitude, the whole attitude of all of these big companies all over the world. It's exactly the same. They haul you in on some pretext of a reduction or making money, and we're told this so many times by people. There's no such thing as a free lunch. It just doesn't exist. Perhaps on a giveaway on YouTube, but other than that, there is no such thing as a free lunch. And as soon as he said the word, I can reduce your bill by £5, I should have realised right there and then that he's not giving this to me for nothing. But I thought at the back of my mind, perhaps it was a retention thing, just to make me happy so that I don't go away. But because I think it's quite expensive what I pay. I think I pay about £50 to £60 for. It's the highest level of internet, that's true. And you expect better service than what I'm getting at the moment. This pixelated screen. Anyway, so that was my, I think it was Thursday. I was really frustrated, so I was going to get on and do a video and get it off my chest and do a rant, but I decided against it. Because it's probably pretty boring for most of you. Hi Jay, how you doing? For the uninitiated, Joe Johnson is most active on IG, and is a cigar man for the most part, and takes some fantastic pictures and of cigars, and his general setup is manly toys. But recently he has moved over to the pipe, not exclusively, but has started smoking a pipe. And this week, I sent him a a package, and he's enjoying that. So I sent him a good selection of tobacco and a pipe. One of the pipes from Danny Shaw, in fact. Tim, exactly. Hi Sandro. I've been with EE on my mobile for many, many years. I've been with them since it was called EE now. Before that it was Orange, and before that it was Hutchison Telecom. A small company called Hutchison Telecom. We're going back over 20 years. I've had the same account all that time, and overall I have to say that it's been pretty good, and I've done the best for myself, I suppose, as much as possible to keep the costs down. So now I'm on a SIM only contract. I'm out of contract with them as well. What I used to do is get the new phone every couple of years and do the upgrade and sign on for another couple of years, and it worked generally. But nowadays it's the whole phone thing, you know, I don't upgrade every year or every 2 years, and I'll stick with the phone until it kind of gives up the ghost. I'm using excuse me, I'm using an iPhone 6s at the moment. So since then we've had the 7. Has there been a 7s, and then the 8 is there, and then the 10. I haven't done any of those upgrades. I didn't like the idea that they took out the earpiece socket, the headphone socket, on the later versions. Not the end of the world, but I like having the access to a headphone socket. Michael, remind me, whereabouts are you based? Is it America? UK? I don't remember. Well, for the most part I do use Bluetooth. I use one of these. This is a Plantronics, and they're very good. I can't remember what this model is. I don't know, but it's Voyager. I think it's a Voyager, one of the Voyagers anyway, and it's a very good earpiece. Florida, right? And when I'm at work I have this, and I'll be listening to stuff via Bluetooth. I'm thinking of getting one of these ones that go around your neck, the Bluetooth ones with the 2 earpieces, but I haven't yet so far. My wife had Virgin for a while, but she's on EE now as well. My main issue now is, being as active as I am on the YTPC, is that I need more data, and at the moment I've got 8 gig and it's just not enough. Do you know if any of the phones, do any of you know if any phones, including Samsung's or any make, allow you to change cameras in mid-recording? See, for me, a lot of the times when I'm doing my videos in the car, I like to show what I'm smoking first, and then point it to the road, but I can't do that. So what I've been doing in the last couple of videos is holding the camera, showing what I'm smoking, and then putting it in the cradle. So I'm using the rear-facing camera all the time. But what I'd like to be able to do is start off with the FaceTime camera, or the front-facing camera, and then switch over to the back one, the main camera. I don't know if any of them do it. I think you can pause on the Samsungs in the middle of a recording, I think. Not sure. You can't on the iPhones. because that would be pretty cool. Not having to edit all the time, so you could do lots of different clips and it would be recorded as one straight video, whereas on the iPhone you have to press record and stop each time and then stitch them together afterwards. I haven't been smoking London Fog that much lately, but this is a delicious bowl, it really is. Tiago Passos, Vitória na Guerra, acompanhado ali do Brasil. Does that sound any good? Don't you need a cable with any company there, Old Lang Syne? With BT I've got a cable as well. Unless you're doing something via satellite. I don't know. I can't speak Brazilian or whatever it is they speak there. What do they speak in Brazil? Portuguese? Spanish? So how does Virgin work if you don't have a landline? I don't get it. Oh, you mean they just give you a separate line, but it's only for internet? And possibly they jump on top of the landline to send the data, but they don't. You don't have to have a landline account with them, I assume is what you mean, Tim. But you still need the cable for them to jump on. Hey Nazar. Well, I've got BT Infinity, which is supposed to be fibre optic, I think, up to the local doodah. You have to translate to English, I'm afraid. I don't understand Portuguese. I'll do a translate, hang on. I'm tasting a cigar Bolivar Liberato. I'm selling a live. Tiago, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Enjoy your cigar anyway. What are the speeds like there, Tim, with Virgin? What about upload? Risk of smoking pipe less than smoking cigar, that's true. And the amount of nicotine, iffy, smoking pipe. Oh, is that comma, smoking pipe? So therefore you're smoking a pipe. Fair enough, horses for courses. So how long does it take you to upload a video, say a 15-minute video on YouTube? $500 megabits, what will you do with that? I mean, fibre optics, did that cost you a fair bit of money to get that installed? Yeah, Elwood, you better send me all your pipes, seriously. It's not good for you. Alright, people. Yeah, it's only in California, absolutely, Josh. I don't know why that is. Why do all the stickers say, in the state of California, pipe tobacco is known to be causing blah blah. I don't remember what my upload is, but I get a pretty good upload speed, I have to be honest. A 10 or 15 minute thing just takes a couple of minutes to upload. Tree, it sounds like your tablet's giving up the ghost. Oh, it's very fast going there. Right, so let's see what we're going to have next. Alright, I think I'm going to have a look and see if I can find a cigar that I'm interested in. I'm just going to put my mic down, so hang on please. Oh, you want a pipe? Yeah, alright, Quaker. I can only do one at a time. I can't smoke 3 pipes. 4 pipes. Near up. I've just had London Fog. And I only smoke London Fog in the near up. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright, I'll tell you what. This, actually, 2 options. The GQ Asquith, which we blended on the 18th of June, I only smoked it then. I haven't smoked it since, so that would be good to try. Or we could try the blend that we did on the live feed on the 29th of April. So that's May, June, that's like almost 2.5 months ago, which is a mixture of Dunhill Navy Rolls and Escudo. Your choice, guys. Asquith GQ, just blended a couple of weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, which is a vapor, or different vapors, a blend of Escudo or Dunhill Navy Rolls. Escudinavia. I think that's a pretty good name. I'm going to keep that one, Quaker. I'm going to pinch that if you don't mind. I know you did suggest it a while back, but I think it's a good name. Oh, good for you, Elwood. I assume you've got some Oryx golden sliced. Right, Nazar, you asked the question. Let's have a look. Let me go back. I can see there's a message retracted, so I can't see that one. Nazar, don't answer my question about amount of nicotine. Oh, you're telling me I shouldn't answer it, or you're asking me to answer it? You don't want to know. Well, there's no question about it. There's more nicotine in cigar smoke than pipe smoke, I think. Alright, so we're going for the Escudinavia. Smells not bad. There's a little bit of fruit in there, a little bit peppery. It doesn't have a huge aroma, I must be honest. Well, speaking of Churchills there, Elwood, I've got some Oliva Serie V Melanio Churchills coming, probably during the course of this coming week, which I'm pretty excited about. I do like the Melanios. Okay, pipe of European Vapors. I don't remember who it was that mentioned it. I do have to try and find those because they sound really up my street. Alright, so we're going to smoke the Amarelli. You know, I sent this, the first one I had of these back. Some of you will have seen that because of a crack in the shank. When I got this one, this is a new bowl. I don't know if it's going to focus. I don't know if you'll get it, but there's a line just there. And I really felt guilty. I haven't told them about it yet because I just feel bad that I don't want to come across as a whinger. You see that line there? There's a like a no, it's a new pipe. The grain is different. I checked it. See that line? I just don't know if I'm being overly fussy. I mean, obviously it's a natural product. It's a piece of wood, but it really goes all the way. That line goes from there when it decides to focus. You see? From there all the way up to there. And I think it's a bit more than just a cosmetic flaw. I've actually heard very good things about Marlin Flake. It's one that I do want to try. I've tried the Hell of the Wines that Tim sent me, which was nice. I'm not entirely up my street with the Kentucky in there, but I do quite fancy trying the Marlin Flake. So I might get myself a tin of that. Yeah, so what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to send them an email just to let them know about it and say that I'll see how things go. But I must be honest, I'm really not terribly happy about it. I just feel guilty complaining. I mean, it'll probably smoke for years and years without a problem, but, you know, on the other hand, it could just become a fissure and crack through. No, I haven't tried that cigar, Tim. When I do, I will do a video, all being well, but I don't smoke non-Cubans that often. But when I do, I will... would you say that it differs from the average non-Cuban? Is it... What do you like about it so much? Could you give a very brief description of it? I'll show you the cigar, which Tim was kind enough to send me. This is a La Galera Maduro. I don't know, but I haven't had a problem. They all seem to be selling bulk. I did see that you were smoking a cigar there, Tim, but I didn't really take note of it. Well, this blend of Scandinavia, it's not bad. It's got a nice spicy retrohale, which I've really been enjoying these days on vapors. But it's really the original intention of mixing Dunhill Navy Rolls and Escudo was because the Escudo tasted a little bit more harsh, a little bit more sort of a bit brash, a bit more peppery. Whereas the Dunhill Navy Rolls were really tasty and sweet, but really smooth and perhaps, you know, a little bit too well behaved. So I thought if I mix the two up, I'll get a nice blend of the two, the nice sweet flavours from the Navy Rolls with a little bit of a kick from the Escudo, and I think that's really is what's happening here, which is a good thing. On the draw, you get the sweetness and the smoothness of the Navy Rolls. On the retrohead, you get that spiciness. That's pretty good. I must be honest, on Friday, I had the mix-up of HH Pure Virginia and 40th anniversary from McClelland. What a great smoke, really. What a great smoke. But I must be honest, the more I smoke Virginias and Vapors, the more I'm getting those flavours coming through. And although I really still am absolutely hooked on McClellands, I'm starting to appreciate other Virginias as well and get that spiciness through retrohaling and things like that. So I don't think I'd be entirely lost without McClellands, but I dig it, man. I dig it. Nazar, you ask a very simple question, yet it's easy to write, but a very difficult question to answer. A good type of pipe is one that'll smoke tobacco well. It doesn't really matter what make it is, and to some extent it doesn't matter what it's made from. If it smokes well, it's a good pipe. In terms of filter, what I use is 9mm filters, charcoal filters, and I also don't see a huge difference. Although if you go onto Pipes and Spirits channel, you'll see that he really goes into the anatomics of filters, and Tim's been doing some videos on filters, but I personally don't see a major difference. I find any charcoal filter that I've tried so far, and I've tried Dr. Pearl's, I've tried Peterson, and a couple of others, and they're all good. I use a filter every time now, yeah. Very rarely I might try a Latakia blend without, and that's only just because I fancy smoking one of my old pipes. But generally speaking, 99.999% recurring of the time I'm using a filter. I'm trying to remember if I've tried the Meerschaum filter or not. I think I may have done, because I know the elephant ones, the ones with a picture of the elephant, or they're called elephant, or something like that. I'm pretty sure I had a small box of them, so it may well be that I have, but I don't remember, is the truth. I don't know about the Meerschaum ones, but the charcoal ones, officially they're reusable 4 or 5 times. White elephant, that's it, yeah. But I don't reuse mine, unless I forget. But generally speaking, I use them once only. And it's funny how, I've mentioned this before as well, how with some smokes it'll come out almost looking unused, and another smoke, this is all after one use, and another smoke it will be completely brown and sodden and leaching out from all sides, bits of whatever it is that it leaches out. So I don't know if it's to do with the pipe, or if it's to do with the amount of humidity in the tobacco, or I don't know. But it's just sometimes when I smoke, it's dry and it almost looks new, and sometimes I'll take a filter out and it's completely rank. But most of the time it's somewhere in between. I guess I'm a bit of a filter snob. I just don't like the idea of smoking a pipe through a filter which is full of gunk from a previous smoke. Number one, because the filtration is not going to be as effective, and number two, I don't want to taste the previous smoke's taste, to be honest. It's really interesting, this Escudo and the Dunhill Navy Rolls. It really does taste like both of those blends, and it lets you have the positives of both blends, and it really works. It's really good. When I first discovered Dunhill Navy Rolls, which was reasonably early on into me getting into Virginias after I went to filters, I was really smoking that a lot because I really enjoyed it. So I've got a fair bit, but I haven't got much Escudo. So I'm going to make a jar of it and let it fester for a bit. I've got one more tin of Escudo, so I might do a tin's worth together with, how much what was the percentages? Oh, it was only 6 grams. It was about 50, it's about 20, well, what have I got here? I've got 15 grams of Dunhill Navy Rolls and 6 grams of Escudo. So that means that I had about 75%, 73% Dunhill Navy rolls to 25% Escudo. So that's why it still tastes smooth, but with just a little bit of a rough edge coming from the Escudo. So I guess what I'll do is a tin of Escudo to, maybe I'll do that now. I'm not sure if I should spend sort of that much of my Dunhill on it though. I've got some older Dunhills as well. I think I'm going to keep those to be smoked as they are. I think I'm going to have to stock up on some Dunhill Navy rolls. I think what I might do is just do 2 boxes of Navy rolls, see how it goes, and then add another one if necessary. Hi Martin. Yeah, you know, sometimes I weigh the Dunhill Navy rolls more than any other tin because it looks to me like there's not enough in there. But I guess it is there. Why did I move to filters? Because I couldn't smoke Virginias. Virginias just bit me too hard. And I was really just smoking a few aromatics and mostly Balkan blends, Latakia blends, English blends. And I found myself smoking cigars a lot as a result. And I don't know what it was, why I tried it with a filter. Maybe somebody suggested it, I don't know. I don't remember. If I would remember and somebody did suggest it, I would certainly want to thank them because it just completely changed my pipe smoking. It completely changed the revolution. Look at the space in that tin. Look at that. Isn't that ridiculous? So when I switched to 9mm pipes, filter pipes, it just opened up my pipe smoking to a huge range of tobacco, Virginia-based tobaccos, and that's resulted in lots of the experiments that you see me doing and the new tobaccos that I'm smoking. When is this one from? Let's have a look. I don't remember how to date this. Does anybody know? I'd have to look it up, I can't remember. They've all got different, slightly different ways of being dated. Anyone? (2017). How are you seeing that, Josh? January 17. It's the regulations because they need to have a certain size on the warnings. Fifth number plus 10. Right, okay. Yeah, I forget. I have known that in the past, but I forget all the different ones. Oh, it smells delicious. The aroma of these is great. It's got a really fruity, apricot-y aroma. It's just great. It's almost a shame to break this up. I must say it does break up to quite a fine, almost a ribbon. That's also a good mix there, Quaker. Flake medallions I find to be extremely, extremely mild, whereas Cabbies is a pretty punchy blend. So yeah, I see that, I get that. That's a good idea actually. Cabbies actually has got a nice kick to it, nice spicy kick to it. It's been a while since I tried it. It's got quite a bit of a fermented flavour as well, as I remember. It's one of those blends that Samuel will go with. It's one of those really steeped in its own juices kind of blend. So I see cabbage is quite a popular blender for people. Yeah, I've tried Mississippi River, various versions. I didn't really get it for a long time. I really didn't. I didn't understand the point of it, to be honest. But I don't know if it was just bad batches that I tried or if it was just so subtle that I just wasn't getting it. But more recently, I enjoyed it. And I've got a jar sitting on my shelf, which I've had jarred since 2016. And that one was smoking pretty well. What's the year on this one? Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. 5th number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus 2, you say? Oh, 17, right, plus 10. No, I haven't tried that. Ogden's mixture. I've got a couple of really old tins, but the contents are not smokable. But I should offer it up to a collector at some point, because I know it's worth a bit, and because I paid for it. This is really wet. I just found another couple of empty tins for you. That's going on the pile while I was looking for those aged tins. This might be of interest to some of you. Tree, you might remember this stuff. This is Will's Cut Golden Bar Ready Rubbed. This stuff is from pre-1970s. This stuff is, the seals have gone on these. This stuff, it smells pretty rank. But it may be recoverable, I don't know. This one actually looks pretty good. This is really old. There's another one. And then I've got a Ogden's St. Bruno Rough Cut. Again, this has got to be from around. See the pipes? Look at the state of that paper. But there's been a lot of rust in there. I would not recommend anybody try this. Look at that. That's rusted through. But I know there's collectors out there who want this kind of stuff. Sure, Boris, no problem. I will send you all 3 if you want to pay for them. I will not be smoking that, don't you worry. No way. Yes, you're right. Should really get on the gurney before I light it up. So, we were talking about this tobacco not being a lot, like getting through the tin really quickly. When you rub it out, there's a good amount there. There's a goodly amount of tobacco in there. Right, let's get some screwdriver in there. Have I got an open tin somewhere? Hang on there, brethren. Ah, here we are. I've got the rest of that tin. That'll do. That will do nicely. See this stuff? I'd love to be able to press it. I really would. This one hasn't anywhere near as nice as aroma as the Dun & Navy rolls. I would absolutely love to press, but I can't be bothered with these little tiny presses that you can get online. But you're lucky if you get a pill size pressed tobacco at the end of it. And I'm really, a couple of years back, French-Canadian something or other, French-Canadian pipe smoker, lovely guy, he fashioned a couple of presses, metal presses himself, really good sized presses, which would give you a block the size of maybe 2 tins. And he sent one to Stutter, Cynthia and Susan, and I think he sent one also to the Dagners, I'm not sure. And I've asked him quite a few times if he'd make me one. And he's kind of out of the picture these days, and he wasn't really interested. But he said if he ever does make them, he'll make one, but not so far. That's why I had this sort of wedged in there, to give it at least some kind of pressure, but it's really no pressure at all. It's a waste of time, really. Yeah, I'm just too lazy. I should really do something. I should make my own out of timber or something. Josh, there you go. Project. You fancy doing something? Make a tobacco press which can be operated with a C-clamp. I'll send you some cigars. Something that's got a bit of depth on it, so it can take a little bit of... Seriously, Josh? I was joking. But yeah, if you're up for it, I'd be delighted. And this stuff, I tell you, this stuff is really right for pressing, because it's got a fantastic amount of moisture in it, and it would marry so well. It really would. I tell you, this feels fantastic. Josh, you got me excited now. Alright, well, I'm going to leave this until I can get it into a press of some kind, hopefully soon. Josh? Okay, treat, another couple of tins on their way. The pile is getting too high, tree. I'm going to have to send you these. A couple of them have got tobacco in, as I mentioned to you last time. Seriously, Josh, don't go to any major hassle over it, please. It wasn't really a serious suggestion. Right, we'll see if I can squeeze all of this lot into that small container. I don't think I'm going to make it, to be honest. the stuff is so moist that it's kind of clumping together when you press it, and this is just really, as I said, very, very ripe for pressing. No, that ain't gonna do it. Well, what I'm going to do actually is put it into 2 containers. So one of these had neat escudo and the other one had the mixture, so when I get the press, I'll just bung it all in. Alright. Okay, well that's a good result from tonight's live video. Got another blend going, and hopefully a tobacco press. Now Josh is starting to feel the pressure. I can't see a cigar box really being able to stand up to a lot of pressure, to be honest. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it sounds a bit of a big ask for a cigar box. Right. I think really, ideally, what I'd be looking for, Josh, and this is what the guy made in metal, but I don't see why, if it's made with a thick enough piece of wood, it wouldn't work. Which is essentially, if you imagine a square tin, so essentially a frame of wood of that circumference and shape, roughly, but about that high. I'd say about 12 inches high. A really solid, robust square frame. About 12 inches high, and maybe a bit less, maybe 10 inches high. And then a plate on top, which would then be held in place. A really sort of thick plate on top, and a thick plate on the bottom. The plate on the bottom, I think, would need to be removable. I don't remember exactly how that was done. Don't know, you might have to give that a bit of thought. But the bottom one would need to be able to come out. With timber, I'm not actually sure how it will work, because the timber will expand. But essentially, that's how the metal one is made. Unless it wasn't too big and the clamp could go on top and on bottom. I don't know. You might have to give that a little bit of thought, maybe look online. I don't know myself, to be honest. And then it's lined with greaseproof paper so that you can get it out again, so you can get the tobacco out. Oh right, that's a good idea as well. Hockey pucks and another PVC pipe. The Dagners did a makeshift one as well, and with also using a big C-clamp. And I remember them having to keep it in a bucket because of the amount of juices that came out of it. And Glenquelch says you've got to balance the amount of pressure so that you don't squeeze all the goodness out of it. It's producing a lot of smoke. And it's not as smooth as it was before. Don't know if I've overlit it or something. But I think with age this will be fantastic. The marrying process will just smooth it out a little bit more. Alright guys, where are we at? We're at 1 hour and 23 minutes. It's 1:30 here. I'm enjoying this, but I don't like, unless you guys don't mind, but I don't like just waffling for the sake of it. And I do want to go and get another cup of coffee. I'm not sure we could take much more beauty from you, Tim. Cheers, Quaker. Cheers, Morgan. Are there any girls on board tonight? All right, gentlemen. Elwood, Quaker, Morgan, Tim. Oh, Harriet, now you're coming on. We're saying bye-bye to everybody. How are you? Cheers, Josh. Really appreciate that. What time have you got over there, Harriet? I haven't even talked football yet. Smoking my first love. What? Smoking my first love live the kin. Sorry, Harriet. You've been drinking, or your typewriter been drinking. Oh, cigar. Well, I was going to have a cigar earlier, but my brethren here persuaded me to go with another pipe. So I don't think I'll be having a cigar tonight. It's funny that for some reason I keep trying to blend tobaccos together to get my, in inverted commas, nirvana smoke. And out of all the Virginias and vapors, The only one that really I can smoke and be happy with on its own, I mean, I'm happy with them all, but the ones which really hit the spot is the McClellans. Yet I do find that with some of the old staples like the Dunhills and the Escudos and the Orlick, I need, just none of them really hit the spot on the full spectrum of flavours. They're either a good quality bright Virginia, a good quality sort of lower end of Virginia. I just, so far, besides for McClellan's, I don't, for instance, the 40th is just an unbelievable tobacco because it hits all the spots really very, very well. Which is why I keep trying to mix some together to get those highs and lows in one blend, which is why I'm hoping that this Scandinavia is going to work out in the long run. It really, I really would like to see how it works out with a bit of time. What's that, Elwood? There it is. Yeah, right, yeah. You're quite right. I should have spotted that. Oh, nice, Harriet. What did you find? Cheers, Tim. Have a good one. Is that Royal Cajun? Stave Age 35, I had a couple of tins of that. But that was in the days when I wasn't enjoying it, and I gave them away. I kick myself now. I've got a tin of Dark Flake, McClellan Dark Flake from 2003, which I opened up also ages ago. I absolutely hated it, but thankfully I didn't give it away. I had a bowl of it the other day. Whew, some good stuff. It's a really, really interesting tobacco to look at as well. This is the Dark Star, sorry, not Dark Flake, Dark, did I say Dark Star? 2003. I've given away most of it, I haven't smoked most of it. Look at the colour of that, it's like charcoal. It's brittle as well. It's really like blocks of charcoal, but it tastes so smooth. Wow, it's got a strong, strong vinegary McClelland aroma. Strong though. It tickles your nostrils. But it's got such a smooth flavour. It's different from 40th. 40th is what I call, it gives you that tingly, mouth-filling sensation. This one is different. It's quite smooth. Well, Elwood, you know, that's something that I'm learning as well, is that there's so much stuff out there, and whether you can get a difficult blend or not, you know, there's plenty out there to keep us happy. I've been very fortunate to, very late on in the game, to get some 40th. But there's plenty out there, especially doing these kind of experiments as well. You can get closer and closer to your ideal smoke. Have you had 40th yet, Elwood? Have you tried? Have you had it? Have you tasted it before? Well, the 40th, I mean, it may just be me. I know I rave about it a lot, but for me, when you start on a 40th, it's hard to preserve. So in some ways, I would say to you, don't try it yet, because once you try it, you might find it hard not to keep smoking it. On the other hand, enjoy it. So, which is to some extent one of the reasons why I've been blending it. And one of the experiments which I did was the 40th anniversary with the HH Pure Virginia. Was the idea was to dilute the 40th anniversary without losing the signature flavour, and it works. For me, it did work. So from that perspective, I hope to make my 40th last quite a long time. Alright people, Harriet, those last 10 minutes were for you. Have a great evening, everybody. Yes, you were given a sample of it, Harriet. I believe it was I, the perpendicular pronoun. Or maybe I was wrong. Don't know, maybe it wasn't me. I definitely gave somebody a sample of it. It was Jay, actually. I might have given you as well, I don't remember. Carolina, thanks for staying with us. So, Carolina, Harriet, Elwood, Boris, Tim's gone already, I think, Sandro, Josh, Morgan Steele, Tree, and all the royal family. Thank you very much for joining. Snakes in the Road. Martin Harrison, if you're still there. AAUK. Nazar. A. Miller. I didn't see you there, Alex. Missed you. If you're still there, sorry. And everybody else, have a wonderful, wonderful morning, evening, afternoon. And I will catch you on the next one. I'm sure there'll be some kind of contact during the course of the week, but if not, I hopefully will see you next Saturday night. Good night, everybody. Catch you on the next one. Absolutely, Sandro. Go England. Tuesday. Maybe we'll do a celebratory one. Hopefully it'll be a celebratory one. And we'll see how we go. Because that won't have to be something special. That if we do a live after the England game, it will be because we done well. Boys done good, hopefully. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home.